Hey there guys, it's James here, and in today's video I want to do something really special for you guys, and I'm actually going to give you guys a snippet of one of my training program modules from our actual flagship program, BNB Mastery program. I'm going to cut out a module because I think it's a really great module to share with some people, because I get a question really often. The question I get really often is, James, what does a BNB manager actually do day to day? What are the responsibilities that they take care of? What does the day-to-day look like for that? How does that all shake down? And so I wanted to put together a video that actually reflected on what you do. And I thought, well, what better way to give you guys that training and help you to answer that question than to actually just cut a little snippet out with a little module within BNB Mastery program so that you can get a feel for exactly how it breaks down. Because there's not actually one single answer for this. There's a couple different options. You can either manage properties doing full service management, or what we refer to as pre-check-in management, managing properties completely remotely. And so the answer differs a little bit, and it'll also differ a little bit depending on what niche you choose. And so I wanted to put together kind of a comprehensive training here on the channel for everyone to check out completely free of charge. And so I put it together here. We're going to cut to that in a second here. Before we dive right into that, I also just want to give a couple things. So number one is, if you want to learn more about the actual step-by-step, the in-depth strategies, really dive into this in more detail, then I've also linked down below in the description to a free training where I really dive into all the nuts and bolts of this. I go into detail about exactly how we get clients, how we're able to keep them on board, how we produce results for them, how we automate and outsource the business, so we can really help you to get to 6 figures a year from hosting, and do it in a way where you really have freedom over your time, control over your time. I break that all down in a free training that I just recently put together. It's completely updated for 2020. So if you want to check that out, you want to learn more about that, I highly recommend checking out the link in the description below and registering for a spot in that free training. It's really helpful. I know from speaking with a lot of people who have been through it, it sheds a lot of light on a lot of these questions. So if you're like most and you have questions about this, you want to learn this step by step, you want to kind of get your hand held through the process, then I highly recommend just checking out the link in the description below and accessing that free training. So with that being said, the only other thing I would ask before we get started and dive into this training here is that you give this video a quick thumbs up. I'm sharing with you some exclusive training that I've pulled right out of our flagship training program, BNB Mastery program. So please take a quick second and just smash that like button, give it a thumbs up, give the video a thumbs up. It helps me out tremendously. And if you want to see more content like this, I'm not sure exactly how much I'll be able to share about this, because it's typically reserved for the clients that I work with very closely. But give this video a thumbs up to let me know. Let me know in the comment section down below if you like this, if you got value from it. And with that being said, let's go ahead and let's just jump right into the training. First off, we want to understand what the different services are that we can offer, and we're going to categorize these into 3 different categories. One being add-ons. So these are add-on services that are one-time services. The next is pre-check-in, and the next is post-check-in. So the add-on services are things like property setup. Now, property setup is going to be, actually getting the furniture, any additional decorations, and actually going out and, potentially making a shopping list of everything that's needed, going and purchasing it, and then going and setting it up at the property. This is an add-on service that you can offer to hosts that could potentially be helpful depending on the niche that you're in, to actually go and set up the property. The next is going to be property staging. So having a cleaner go in there and do a full deep clean and staging of the property to get it ready for photography. This is going to be really beneficial to a lot of property owners because it allows their property to really shine when it's photographed and really put its best foot forward for all the potential guests. Property photography is another big one. This is going to be really valuable for virtually every property owner, because having good quality professional photos is the #1 thing that can improve the performance of a listing. So good chances are a lot of your clients are going to need proper photography done. The last one is listing setup. Actually creating the listing, putting together the right headline, the right description, all these different parts of the listing, saying the pricing, making sure that it's optimized. Everything's, exactly the way it should be to be in optimal order, that initial listing setup. Those 4 services are the add-on services. Now, the next group is what we call pre-check-in. So this is before the guest checks in. This is going to be pricing the property, making sure the pricing is optimized, that it's adjusted for all the seasonal highs and lows, the events that are in the area, weekend versus weekday pricing. SEO, search engine optimization. So what this is it's not your typical SEO, but there's things that we can do to make sure that a listing shows up higher in the search results on Airbnb. Things like just updating the listing, getting it wish listed. There's a whole bunch of different tricks. We'll talk about these more in depth in the remaining parts of the program here. But SEO is another one to just make the property perform better overall in search results. Guest communication, communicating with the guests, answering their questions prior to their booking, prior to their check-in, making sure they get all their questions answered and they actually book the property. And then guest check-in. Actually getting the guests checked into the property and, getting all the information to them that they need to before they actually arrive for their stay. Now, after check-in, there's going to be guest communication that potentially occurs if they ask questions about the neighborhood, about the area, about how to adjust the thermostat, whatever that might be. There's going to be guest checkout, getting them checked out of the property, making sure they have all the information they need, making sure that they've enjoyed their stay. There's going to be cleaning after that, so having a cleaning team go in there and turn over the property, get it ready for the next guest. And then the last is going to be maintenance, just on an ongoing basis. Every property is going to need some maintenance here or there. So that's just a matter of having a maintenance person go in there and change out the odd light bulb, maybe fix the plumbing every once in a while if it's needed. Those are the post-check-in services. And so you can see here already, you can probably get an idea, your wheels are probably turning a little bit about, what problems some of these might solve. Well, pricing and SEO, that's probably going to solve the problem of not getting the right returns that they want. Guest communication and guest check-in and cleaning, well, if we manage those are probably going to take a lot of time off the property owner's plate. So that's probably going to alleviate that quite a bit. Listing setup, if we do a good job of setting the right house rules and setting up the listing the right way, we can attract the right type of guest and avoid getting the wrong type of guest in there. Property photography, if we do that really well, that can improve the performance of a property as well. So you can see that, some of these services already map to solving some of the problems that we've talked about up till now. And so go through them in a little bit more detail and just further define the difference between add-ons, pre-check-in, and post-check-in. The add-on services, these are one-time. They're additional services that you can offer that may help to solve potential clients' challenges. They're amplifiers. And the really great thing about these is that we're going to talk about pricing in a little bit here, and add-on services are just additional streams of income to you. So they're not going to be a part of your regular 10 or 20 or 30% management fee, whatever you're charging as a management fee. The add-on services are going to have a one-time charge associated with them as well. And then pre-check-in, these are going to be ongoing core services with the most leverage and the most scalability. So if you look back here, these are really high leverage activities: pricing, SEO, guest communication, guest check-in. Those are the ones where you have the most leverage, because that's where you're actually doing the higher leverage skills that are going to add money to the bottom line of the hosting business. These are going to really amplify the performance of the property. And then the next is the post-check-in services. So these are going to be ongoing additional services that may help to alleviate some clients' pain points. They're not necessarily as high of leverage, right? You're not actually going to improve the property's performance, but you will improve guest reviews, which will make an impact for sure. And then you're also going to alleviate a lot of other pain points by just taking these things off of the property owner's plate. And so that's basically the breakdown of all the services. Now let's talk about full service versus pre-check-in. Now, these are the two most common standard different models. Is you're going to either offer full service management or pre-check-in management, which is sometimes referred to as booking management. There's other different terms for it. Full service is basically, it includes both pre-check-in and post-check-in services. You may also include add-ons in addition to that. Like I said, those are outside of the core services because it's just one time. Now, the pros to this is that there's more potential value to clients. Right? You can have higher management fees because you're just adding more value to clients. There's more that you're taking off of their plate. The cons of this is that it is a little bit more logistically challenging. And more than anything, it's just that it's more challenging, not impossible, far from impossible, but it is more challenging to operate remotely because you're going to be managing a cleaning team from a different state. You're going to be communicating with them a little bit differently. So it's just a little bit more challenging to operate remotely than doing just pre-check-in. So when it makes the most sense is when you're doing local management. If you're managing right in your own area or you're managing higher end properties, they're typically going to want a more full service management. And so that's when it typically makes the most sense. And so that's going to include your pre-check-in and your post-check-in services, like I mentioned. Now, the next option is to go pre-check-in. Pre-check-in includes only pre-check-in services. So it's only going to be those ones that were in the blue box there for pre-check-in. And the pros are that it's a lot less operational complexity. You're not dealing with cleaners. You're not dealing with maintenance people at all. There's no real complexity to it because everything is really just online. It's just the online part of it. Now, everything can be done online with the post check-in as well, because obviously you can just communicate with your cleaners, and we're going to show you how to set them up so that they're integrated with your softwares and everything else. But it's really just, you're not managing other people at all, other than maybe your guest communication team. So it's easier to manage remotely, and it's a little bit higher leverage, like I mentioned before. The cons are that there's less potential value to clients. You can't take some of those pieces off their plate. So there's going to be lower management fees. They're not going to pay you as much as if you were managing their cleaner and managing their maintenance, things like that. So when it makes the most sense is for remote management. Typically, if you're managing properties remotely, that's when you're going to want to choose a pre-check-in method of management. That business model of doing pre-check-in is going to make a lot of sense if you're managing properties in a different city, a different state, a different country altogether. And so this is what that looks like. It's just the pre-check-in. So you're going to do the pricing, the SEO, the guest communication up until check-in, not after check-in, and you're going to get the guests checked into the property and ready to go. And then from there on, it's going to be back to the property owner for them to take care of. So you're just basically managing their online presence with that platform and making sure that it's maximized, that it's really performing at top dollar. All right, awesome guys. I hope that's been really valuable for you. I hope that you enjoyed that training, and I hope it helped you to answer the question of, what does a BNB manager actually do day to day? What does that day to day look like? Hopefully it's been really helpful for you. If you liked the video, if you got value from it, again, please just give this video a quick little thumbs up. It does help me out more than you can imagine if you just take literally half a second and click that like button. It helps me out tremendously with YouTube algorithm to help keep growing this channel so we can reach more people. So I'd really appreciate it if you take a quick second to just like the video. And then also, if you want, again, more in-depth training like this, if you want more step-by-step, exactly how to build this business for yourself and how to earn a full-time income on Airbnb, managing other people's properties without any hard costs, without any upfront expenses, without any tech experience, without any previous experience whatsoever, again, just check out the link in the description down below. That'll link you to our free training where I walk through absolutely everything step-by-step. So just check that out if you want to learn more. If you're new to the channel here and you want to see our videos when they come live every single week, we do post 2 new videos every single week on the channel here. So just give this video a subscribe, give this channel a subscribe rather, so you can be updated when those new videos come live. Just hit that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next video.